Hello, in this video we're looking at issue 77 of Warhammer 40,000 Imperium magazine, and in this issue's battle report we're fighting over the most objectives yet. Hello, I'm Will and this is Mike with the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
In this video we're bringing you issue 77 of Warhammer 40,000 Imperium magazine, which came with the first part of the Necron Catacomb Command Barge. We'll get the rest in the next issue, so we're not going to be able to build it yet, but if you want to skip ahead to our battle report you can do so using the timecode in the description or the chapter bars, but we'll be having a look through the issue first. We have the battle record for the Command Barge first. So this is a mobile command platform for a Necron Overlord, which gives him greater mobility and a higher platform for him to direct his underlings. The barge itself comes with powerful shielding and weaponry as well. And the battle record here, where you can give the Overlord a name and designation for the barge and record some of its deeds. We know about the Eldari Harlequins now, another sub-faction of the Eldari species, probably the most enigmatic and mysterious. They dress in bright clothing and fearsome masks, and serve a sort of dual role within Eldari society as both travelling players who put on performances telling the great stories of the Eldari race, and also deadly battlefield combatants, fighting on the battlefield actually much as they do on the stage, in a graceful dance across the battlefield following their own inscrutable objectives. And a bit more here about the Solitaires, treated with fear even by other Eldari, Death Jesters who wield long-range weaponry, and a bit about Kegarak, the Laughing God, who is their patron deity, and their Sadath, which is their name for their performances. Another Warzone article, this time on Obolis and Lirak, two subsectors near the Forge World of Metallica, and serving as a kind of buffer zone for that Forge World, so that when they were invaded by the Chaos forces of the Death Guard, the forces of Metallica moved out to oppose them. Here we have Typhus, the first captain of the Death Guard, who is engineering a special plague on the request of Abaddon the Spoiler to invade the system. And a short story here about some of the Astra Militarum led by a Commissar. Initially they're fighting against the forces of Craftworld Saimhan, but then all of a sudden they find themselves beset by the impossibly swift forms of the Harlequins. There's a bit about the Commissariat here, who are sort of political officers of the Imperium, charged with maintaining morale among the Astra Militarum and other Imperial forces. Some Space Wolves characters now. We have Njal Stormcaller, the High Rune Priest. Rune Priests being the Space Wolves' equivalent of librarians, although they maintain that they channel the storm energies of Fenris rather than the energies of the warp. Although some don't see any distinction in this, who's blessed with great foresight and is accompanied by his cyber familiar, the Raven called Nightwing. And Lucas the Trickster, kind of unique character among the Space Wolves in that he never progressed beyond the ranks of the Bloodclaws, basically the initiates of the Space Wolves, is known for confounding even his allies with tricks as well as his enemies. And now the build guide for the Command Barge, which is quite a large miniature with a lot of parts, so we don't get them all in this issue, and it suggests making them in the sub-assemblies you can see there to make them easier to paint later, particularly the Overlord himself, who will be very difficult to paint if you've glued him to the machine. It also comes with the parts to make an Annihilation Barge, which comes with a much larger gun, but we don't have the guide to do that here, although you can find that online if you prefer to make that. You can also assemble it with a choice of gun underneath, either the Tesla cannon or the Gauss, which we get the rules for both, so you can do either. And there's the guide for the assembling the Overlord himself as well, who if you were to make the Annihilation Barge, you would be able to put on foot. And there we go, so showing what it will look like when it's put together, but as it says here, it suggests not gluing them together until they're painted to make life easier for you. And also be careful not to get glue on the flying stand. And we also get another fold-out insert with this, continuing the exploits of rogue trader Sonara von Hart. In this instalment, she heads to the Ardis system, hoping to make a profit, but is surprised to find it in the grips of an insurrection led by the forces of Chaos. Immediately upon arriving, her ship is commandeered by the Raven Guard, who are directing the war zone. Although through some cunning and prudent decisions, she manages to keep her ship largely undamaged and her forces largely unscathed, even managing to salvage a couple of renegade ships to add to her fleet, which is viewed as a little bit suspicious by Inquisitor Malok, who comments on that here. And a bit of information on the ground war, in particular the battle for the city of Lithis, which she committed her forces to, and some of the movements of the various forces involved here, and more commentary from the various characters involved. So again, if you really like the background and lore for Warhammer 40k, I'm sure you'll love reading all this detail here and the little asides that are often in here. But that's it for the contents of our issue, so I'll be handing you over to Mike now, who will take us into our game.
So I'll have to wait until the next issue to learn the rules for the Command Barge, so we can get straight into the background for today's mission, where the Imperium have discovered a breach into the main central nerve system of the Necron tomb complex, and hopefully by breaking through this breach can find a route to the dolmen gate. Much to the dismay of the Necrons, the tomb complex is littered with breaches, obviously hasn't been well maintained, so they need to stop the Imperium from breaking through to enter the central tomb. So today's mission is Breach the Tomb, another 75 power veteran mission. As you can see, there's 8 objectives. We actually get 4 more on the back cover. So there's a deployment zone either side, and then there's a 12-inch circle in the middle, and the objectives are arrayed all around, and in this game the Imperium is player B. The 12-inch circle around the centre is the tomb entrance, and if any player controls an objective marker at the end of their command phase, then it remains under their control, and if they move away from it until your opponent takes control of it, you get 5 victory points if you control 2 or more objective markers, 5 if you control 3 or more, and 5 if you control more than your opponent, and it cannot be scored in the first battle round. And also, while we're choosing secondary objectives, the Imperium player as player B can choose Search for the Portal instead of a general one. Each time a unit from the Imperium army successfully completes the Search for the Portal action, they score a victory point plus 1 additional victory point for each objective marker currently under their control for a maximum of 5. And so the Search for the Portal action allows 1 infantry unit from the Imperium army, excluding any characters, to start to perform the action at the end of the movement phase if it is wholly within the tomb entrance, so that's the 12 inches around the centre, and this action is completed at the end of your next command phase so long as the unit performing it is still wholly within the tomb entrance, but that objective cannot be scored in the first battle round either. So we'll show you our armies and get straight into the game. And here's my Imperial force. Going over the Marines first, we've got Kjalma, who will be my Warlord, and I've got a Lieutenant as well for the Aura support. 2 units of 5 Assault Intercessors, a unit of 3 Aggressors, a unit of 5 Infiltrators, the 3 Suppressors, the 3 Outriders and the Invader ATV. I've got a unit of Battle Sisters and a unit of Seraphim as my Sororitas contingent, and then my AdMech contingent is the Tech Priest Dominus, the Skitarii Rangers and the Cataphrone Destroyers.
And here is my 75 power Necrons. So we've got the Overlord, the Scorpec Lord, the Plasmancer and the Technomancer. The Overlord will be the Warlord with Enduring Will as his Warlord trait for -1 damage. Technomancer will have the Photonic Challenge subject to Arcana, so he ignores the first fail-save per turn. Then we've got the usual 3 troops units, accompanied by 5 Death Marks, 5 Flayed Ones, 2 Crypto Thralls, 3 Scorpic Destroyers with a Plasma Sight, 3 Counter Scarab at bases, 3 Wraiths, Triarch Stalker, the Counter Reanimator, and 3 Tomb Blades.
So we finished deploying. You can see the left half of the battlefield here, and then the right half. So we have Imperium on the right, because we have fixed deployment zones. And actually you can see those black crates down at the bottom right, the blue cargo container and the black barrels on the left, and those grey crates down there. They sort of make a ring of 12 inches away from the centre, so they're sort of marking the tomb. But we have 4 objectives around the centre, 1 to 4. 5 and 6 are going to be in the Necron deployment, 7 and 8 in the Imperium deployment. So there you can see 8 down there bottom right. Go over my deployment first. I've got the Infiltrators infiltrating ahead behind the Hemotrope Reactor. I've got the Battle Sisters with the ATV down near Objective 8. Those Seraphim just there off to the side are in Sky Strike. In the middle I've got a unit of Assault Intercessors with Kjalma and the Lieutenant behind them, and the Suppressors and the Aggressors behind them, the Outriders in the middle. And at the top I have the other unit of Assault Intercessors and my AdMech contingent around Objective 7. So that's the Tech Priest Dominus, the Skitarii Rangers and the Cataphrone Destroyers. And here we go, looking at the southern part of the Necron deployment.
So at this end we've got all the melee stuff. We've got the Destroyers, the Wraiths and the Scorpec Lord at the back there. He's within 3 inches of Objective 6, so I will control it in my command phase. Then there's the Triarch Stalker, the Immortals and the Plasmancer and Crypto Thralls. Got the Death Marks in the middle, the unit warriors with Gauss Reapers, Reanimator behind them, then there's the Overlord, the other warriors, the Tomb Blades and the Technomancer up in the top corner, and the Scarabs behind that box, and the Flayed Ones are in Dimensional Translocation.
I'm going to pick Divine Guidance as my Sacred Right, and my single objective is going to be the Search for the Tomb, the mission specific one.
Whereas I'm not allowed to pick that one, so we're going to go for Raise the Banners High.
And now we're rolling off to see who gets to go first. Re-roll because it's a draw.
I won, and I will go first.
So we're into Necrons turn 1. At the start of the battle round I get a Miracle Dice, or 3.
And we're going to have Protocol of the Undying Legions turn 1, and we will go for an extra wound recovered with Living Matter.
So for my Canticles and Doctriners, I don't think I'll pick any actually. My AdMech are going to be too far away for them to be of any use, I think.
So my movement's starting closer to the camera. The Wraiths have moved up to Objective 3. The Destroyers are just going to chill in that building for now with their plasma sight. One Immortal's in the building, the other's on the other side of the wall there. They just move normally. Scorpion Lord is going to stay back and he'll start to raise a banner on Objective 6 at the end of the movement phase. In the middle, the Shark Stalker moved up to get in range of the Outriders. The Crypto Thralls are in the building on Objective 4, so they will raise a banner on that. The Plasmancer is outside the room, so you can see something. I put My Will Be Done on the death marks in the command phase, and then they moved up onto the roof, so they can shoot with no penalty. Everything over here advanced. Warriors getting nice and far forward, followed by the Scarabs, the Overlord, the other Warriors, and the Reanimator. Reanimation beam went on the Warriors with Gauss Reapers. And finally, in the top left corner, the Technomancer is going to stay still and do the action, and the Tombblades are going to stay there to protect him for now. I'd also spent a command point to reroll an advance roll as well, and then the Plasmancer's Harbinger of Destruction will hit the Infiltrators. You can just about see them. They take a mortal wound. On to shooting. The Death Marks are going to shoot the Infiltrators, mainly to try and use up the medics for ignoring a wound.
I will spend a command point for Transhuman Physiology on them, which I do not get back.
And then 5 shots hitting on 2s, because even though we moved, we've got My Will Be Done. Didn't help, because we've got 4 hits anyway. Wounding on 4s because of Transhuman. 6s do a mortal wound though, so 2 mortal wounds.
2 saves, but we have cover from the Hemotrope Reactor, so 4s. Maybe both, so 2 mortal wounds. That doesn't mean the medic technically hasn't been used up yet.
Yep. So the Plasmancer will shoot at them. D3 shots, 3. Hitting on 3s because he did not advance. 2 hits. We'll do Techno-Oracular Targeting to auto-wound for one of these, and then the other one is a 4, which it does.
So 5+ saves. Maybe 1.
So the medic is now used up. And the Wraiths, last of all, 3 shots on 4s, only 1. Wounds on a 4. No. And last bit of shooting, the Shark Stalker is going to shoot at the Outriders. 6 shots on 3s. 4 hits. Wounding on 3s. Only 1. And you know what, I'll re-roll one of those 2s with a command point.
Actually, down to... Oh, that was 2 wounds, so 6+ armour. Nope.
D3 damage each. I can't kill a bike in 1 shot, so I'll roll both. Oh, only 2. So. And finally in the charge phase, the Wraiths might as well declare a charge on the Infiltrators. Need a fairly decent roll. Probably not a 6. I didn't catch it on camera, but I did re-roll that into a 9. I've piled them in already, so with the 9 and then the pile in, they get to there and they can all attack.
And I'll use Transhuman Physiology again. So I don't get that one either. Down to 12 command points.
And then we've got 12 attacks hitting on 4s. 7 hits wounding on 4s. 4.
4 5+ saves. Made 2. So 2 remaining Infiltrators can hit back. Well, they got 3 wounds.
3+? Oh, they take a wound.
Well, that's going to be it. The Infiltrators don't need to make a leadership test because they have +1 because of the inspiring Hemotrope Reactor. But then at the end of the turn, all the banners get raised, so the Necrons have 3 banners. And we'll be into Imperium turn 1. Well, in my command phase, Kjalma put his Chapter Master ability on the suppressors, and I've also spent 2 command points and got 1 back to use Data Blessed Auto Summon to give the Cataphront Destroyers Benediction of the Omnissiah, and then I gain control permanently of objectives 2, 7 and 8, and you can see the results of my movement. The Invader ATV has come out, and you can just about see the Scorpion Destroyers where it is. Battlesys has moved up, but I am leaving some lingering behind a bit so that the flayed ones can't teleport in. Here in the middle, the Infiltrators have fallen back from the race, Kjalma, the Lieutenant, and the Aggressors have moved across, Assault Intercessors have moved out of the building, and Suppressors have moved up onto the roof of the building. And up at the top, the Admech contingent has moved forward a bit to get in range of those Warriors, and the Outriders and the Assault Intercessors have moved out, and the Assault Intercessors advanced as well. I think I'll start the shooting phase with the Invader, and it's going to fire its multi-melter at the Destroyers and put its bolt rifles into the race. So 2 shots from the multi-melter hitting on 3s. They both hit, and wounding on 3s. Yeah, we'll spend a command point to reroll that. 2. Either 4, so that's 2 wounds. Next one's 5.
So no save.
D6 damage. First one, 4.
Kills 1.
And 3.
Kills 1. Do I get anything back? No.
And there's 2 wounds on the race with the bolt rifles as well.
3s. Take a wound.
I'll do the Aggressors next. They're going to fire their Flamestorm Gauntlets at the Wraiths. 7 wounds on the Wraiths after rerolls.
We take 2 wounds, so we will lose 1. Reanimation. No, not quite.
Do the Battle Sisters next, also at the Wraiths. I'll start with the Storm Bolter because it does 2 damage, and I will share it because it's vaguely important. 4 shots, that can get 1 hit. Wounds on a 5. Oh, it does.
3+. Yep.
We got 1 wound from the Flamer.
A wound.
And we got 6 wounds with bolt guns, 2 of which are AP -1 because of Divine Guidance.
So the normal ones are on 3s, 2 wounds, and then 2 with AP on 4s. Which I made both of, so it is still enough to finish off another Wraith.
Yeah.
I'll re-roll that because it's important. Oh, it does come back.
Moving over to the other side of the battlefield, the Cataphrons up in the top right there are going to fire their heavy plasmas into the Reanimator, which I will supercharge, and then the grab is going to go into those warriors with the Gauss Flayers. So do the grab first. Hits on 4, so you got 1. And wounded.
Well, no save, so it does kill 1, which does not come back.
Then the important guns, the heavy plasmas, 2d6 shots for 9. He's hit on 4s. Well, I can reroll one of these ones with Benediction. Oh, into 1. So there's 2 mortal wounds, so Grab Man's going to take some damage. Then we have 5 hits, that wound on 3s. And I can reroll one of these because of Benediction. 5 wounds.
Need to make a lot of 6s. No, it's destroyed. It might blow up on a 6. No.
Do the suppressors next. They're going to shoot at the Tomb Blades. 9 shots hitting on 4s because we moved. Rerolling everything because of Calgar's ability. Roll in 8 hits, wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s because of the Lieutenant. 6 wounds.
5s either way. I made 3, so they are destroyed. But I'll re-roll 1 to see if I can keep them around because Tomb Blades are handy. Reroll. Oh, success. So 2 die. And do any come back? Oh, we get 1 back.
Back up at the top, the Tech Priest Dominus is just in range of the Warriors with Gauss Flayers as well, so I'll put some shots into them. So 3 shots hitting on 3s, 2 wounding on 3s, 6s do 2 mortal wounds in addition. Nothing. So Skitarii Rangers are going to shoot the same unit of Warriors, and starting with the rifles, I got 2 wounds.
5s, made 1.
Plasma that isn't supercharged gets 2 hits and kills 2. Arc Rifle has 1 shot, that misses, and the Sniper hits 3 wounds.
6. No.
4 dead Necrons.
Get 0 back with a reroll. No.
Do the Outriders next, going to shoot the same unit of Warriors. 4 wounds from the Outriders.
5s. Oh, made 3. And it doesn't come back.
We've only got Calgar and the Lieutenant left, and they're only in range of the Wraith, so Lieutenant got 2 wounds and a mortal wound.
Normal wounds are on 3s. We failed, so that's applied first, so that kills the Wraith and then does a mortal wound to the other one, which does not come back.
1 wound at Calgar at -1.
But this Wraith is now behind a pipe for 3+, yes.
That's all my shooting. So in the charge phase, we'll start with Calgar. He's going to try and charge that Wraith. 7? Yeah, I will re-roll it. Needs a really big roll though. Well, 9. Well, 9 is just enough to get Calgar to there. And up at the top, the Outriders are going to charge the Warriors. Now the Outriders get a 7. That's not enough, they needed a 9 as well. So just Calgar to do. Calgar's got 7 attacks hitting on 2s. They will hit. And wounded on 3s, getting 6 wounds.
Need to pass 6 in on 4+ and someone. I've made 1.
Yeah.
It's it.
Stops the Necrons holding objective 3, but they are going to hold more than me. Those Necron warriors up there have to take a leadership test.
We lost 6, so on a 5 or 6 we will fail. We are alright.
But that's it for the first battle round. On to battle round 2 and Necron's turn 2. I'll roll in my miracle dice to get a 5. My Canticle is going to be Benediction of the Omnissiah, so he's actually active for both the Tech Priest and the Cataphrons now. My Doctrine Imperative is going to be Protector, the one that gives you +1 ballistic skill, -1 weapon skill.
And Command Protocol will be the Southern Storm, and I'm going to go for the directive which allows a unit to do an action and still shoot. In my command phase we're going to do Resurrection Orb on the Warriors that lost 6, and we get 3 back. Also in the command phase, a put my will be done on the Warriors with the Gauss Reapers, and brought back a Tomb Blade, which we'll show in a moment. And at the end of the command phase I got 18 victory points, because I held 4 objectives, which was more than the Imperium did, and I also got 3 for my banners. And then in the movement phase, the Scarabs, you might be able to see right at the top, advance to get to there. 2 units of Warriors have moved up onto Objective 1. The Warriors with the Gauss Flayers are going to do the action to raise a banner on it, but they can still shoot because of the Command Protocol. The Overlords move normally. Up at the top left, the Tomb Blades are just going to stay where they are to keep the Seraphim away from my home objective. The Technomancer advanced, the Crypto Trolls advanced to come across and protect him. Plasmancer advanced and went to hide over there, where some Warriors can protect him. Deathmancer stay where they are. Sending things over to Objective 3 is just going to give Calgar stuff to munch on, so the Triarch Stalker has moved back into the corner to defend Objective 6 from the Seraphim. Scorpet Lord and Scorpet Destroyer advanced, and followed by the Plasma Sight, and the Immortals have just moved back in that direction again. And I'm not going to bring in the Flayed ones this turn. Harbinger of Destruction will hit the Outriders because it's the closest unit. So mortal wounds. Oh, 3. Into the shooting phase, we'll start with the Triarch Stalker. It can shoot at the suppressors.
I think I'll use Transhuman Physiology on them. Do I get it back? Yes.
And then 6 shots on 3s. 4. We'll use Technical Active Targeting to get 1 auto wound and then 4s. 1 more. So 2 wounds, -3.
5+ armour saves. Made 1.
D3 does not kill 1. Roll that into a 1. No, still 1. So we'll move over to the top where the Warriors with the Gauss Reapers will shoot at the Outriders. We've got 8 wounds.
Yeah, -2, so 5s. Made 3. Sarge's got 2 wounds left.
The Plasmons can finish him off. D3 shots. 2. Hitting on 4s because he advanced. 1, 3. That's a wound. -3.
6. Yes.
Oh, 1 wound from the 1 Tomb Blade that was in range, which was the Gauss.
So -2, so 5. Nope.
Immortals tried to finish off the Sarge, but failed, but they did get a wound on a suppressor. The 2 couldn't see the Sarge.
Yep, so 4+ armour save from the suppressor. Wait. The death marks finally finish off the Outrider Sergeant with a mortal wound.
And then we've just got those Warriors who are going to shoot the Assault Intercessors. And I'm going to Relentless Onslaught, so 6s to hit are an additional hit. Didn't get any 6s. And 4 wounds.
4+ saves. Made 2. 1 dies.
But I'm not going to declare any charges, so that'll be it.
And they'll successfully raise the banner on objective 1. And we'll head into Imperium turn 2. Calgar wasn't in range to put his Chapter Master ability on anything, so just put it on himself for now, and he's moved up into the middle to support the suppressors for now with the Lieutenant. Suppressors staying where they are. Infiltrators came across, tied behind the Heliotrope reactor again, and they're going to do the action this turn. The Invader has moved across, so you can see the lone remaining Destroyer and hold objective 3. These Assault Intercessors have moved up normally, while the Aggressors advance to get into flamer range of those Warriors. The other Assault Intercessors have moved up as well. The Admech contingent is also moving up to get all their guns to bear. So I also spend a command point to reroll the Aggressors' advance as well. And I'll start the shooting phase with the Invader, and it's going to fire its melter gun at the Destroyer, and then the Assault Bolters into the Immortals, because there aren't really any better targets. So the multi-melter, now reroll 1. Quite like it to die. Right, hit. Wounds on a 3. Yes.
6 to save, cover. Oh, just so close.
D6 damage. 3. 3 wounds on the Immortals with the Assault Bolters. AP -1.
I think 2 have cover from this angle from some boxes. So 3s, fine, and last one. Oh, we do lose 1. Does it come back? Oh, it does.
I'll do the Suppressors next. They're going to shoot at the Tomb Blades again. 9 shots hitting on 4s, rerolling 1 because Calgar is nearby. Rerolls. Still 6 hits. Winning on 3s, rerolling 1s. 6 wounds.
4s all round. No, they're killed.
Do the Aggressors next. Going to fire their Flamers at the Warriors with Gauss Reapers. 66 automatic hits. Ooh. 26 automatic hits. Wounding on 4s, rerolling 1s because the Lieutenant is nearby. 16 wounds.
AP -1 because of Tactical Doctrine, so we're looking for 5s. Oh, that's not bad. 1 box. Yeah, we only lose 8.
Yeah.
Reanimation. 3 and 3 1s to reroll. 4.
Do the Skitaria Rangers next. I'm going to spend 2 command points for Galvanic Volley Fire and put all the rifles into those Warriors with the Gauss Flayers, because those are the ones that will be within 15. We'll put the Arc Rifle into them as well. Plasma will go into the Warriors as well, and then the Sniper will shoot at the Plasmancer, who we can see just behind the Heliotrope reactor in the bottom left there. I only got 14 wounds from Galvanic Rifles.
There's 2 outside cover, I'll do it on them first. Then 1 lives and dies.
So there's 11 left.
Yeah, and we lose 7, so they're all dead, yeah.
So the Arc Rifle and the Plasma unfortunately are wasted, so the Transuranic Arquebus on the Plasmancer hits on a 4. So a hit. Wounds on a 3. Oh, and a 6, so it does mortal wound.
Well, he's in cover from the Heliotrope reactor, so a 5, which he failed.
D3 damage. 2 pistol shots from the Assault Intercessors, so the 5-man will shoot at the unit of Gauss Reapers. 2 wounds at -1.
Lose 2. 1 of which comes back.
Do those Cataphrons next, actually. The main guns are all going to go into the Gauss Reaper Warriors, while there's a Flamer and the Phosphor will go into those Scarabs at the top there. I'm not going to supercharge the Plasma because I don't need the damage. I'll just roll how many shots it has. 6. And I'll roll it together with the Grav. 11 shots in total. 4s. And I can re-roll one of these because of Benediction. 7 hits. Wounding on 3s.
Yeah, they're all dead, I think.
Well, we got 5 wounds on a Scarab.
From the Flamers, so 6s. Made 1, so we lose a whole base. Which does not come back.
Assault Intercessors up there. 3 bolt pistols are in range of the Plasmancer, so they'll try and finish him off. Plasma will just take a shot at the Overlord, I suppose. 3 bolt pistol shots and 3 wounds on the Plasmancer.
4+, so he dies, even with cover. I'll re-roll a save. 4+, yes.
Tech Priest Dominus will shoot at the Overlord. So the black dice will be the Serpenta. Serpenta hits on a 2, the Volkite hits on a 3. And I can re-roll one of these because Benediction does affect him this turn. So 2 Volkite hits on the Serpenta. Serpenta wounds on a 4, otherwise it's 3s. re-rolling one because of thingamajig. So just a Serpenter and a Volkite here.
Serpenter will be on a 4 because it's -1, which I made, and the Volkite on a 3, which I made.
I think only Calgar is the only one left in range, so he'll try and pick off the Plasmancer as well. Calgar did nothing at all. So I think that larger unit of Assault Intercessors will try and charge the Plasmancer. Gonna need a big roll. Ooh, like an 11. So these Assault Intercessors get in around the back of the Plasmancer. Those Assault Intercessors are going to try and charge the Overlord. Hopefully some of them survive and take away that objective. So they get a 8. So that gets them in like that. The start of the fight phase, the Plasmancer has an aura that goes off.
Mortal wound to the Assault Intercessors fighting him on the 4+. They take a wound.
Do the Assault Intercessors up here first. So spend a command point for Gene Wrought Might, and then we've got 17 attacks hitting on 3s, and 6s are automatic wounds. So 8 regular hits that wound on 5s. Well, we'll get 5 wounds in total.
So he'll have a 4+ save. He failed 2, he's down to 3.
Do these Assault Intercessors next. They've piled in, going to hopefully kill the Plasmancer and consolidate into those Death Marks and Immortals and shut down their shooting for the next turn.
Oh, only 7 wounds, we can totally live. Now he's dead.
And then the Assault Intercessors will consolidate over here to bring in the Death Marks and the Immortals. But now the Overlord gets to strike back. I'm going to use Transhuman Physiology on those Assault Intercessors.
4 attacks from the Overlord on 3s. He hit 3 times. I will re-roll 1 to see if that can get a 4th hit. Yep. Wounding on 4s though. Yeah, we killed 2. And then I've also got all the Mortals and Death Marks to hit.
3 wounds from the Immortals. Oh, we'll lose an Assault Intercessor, that's fine. 3 Death Marks get in and 3 Death Marks get a wound, so more 3+ saves. Whoa, lose another Assault Intercessor. That's not quite the end of the turn, the Plasmancer might come back.
Yeah, so spending a command point for Resurrection Protocols on 4+, he does not. But I think we'll call it there going into Battle Round 3 because I just don't think I have enough models left to do anything, and my 2 units of 5 infantry that can do useful things are currently tied up in melee. I would still be in the lead after this battle round, I think, because I'm about to gain another 18 victory points, and the Imperium are getting probably 14 or 15. But then even if the flayed ones come in and do quite well, they're just going to be shot again. So the last 2 battle rounds I'm expecting the Imperium will be getting another 40 victory points or something.
Yeah, I mean you might prolong it into turn 3, but I think turn 4 and 5 is just going to be me cleaning up. So yeah, that'll be an Imperial victory. We'll recap that game for you now. Well, that was the game for issue 77 of Warhammer 40,000 Imperium magazine. How did you think that went?
I don't think it went badly for me as such. I just think it was just a difficult scenario to win anyway against an army with superior firepower.
Yeah, I just outranged you again and shot you similar to other games we've had when we started on the short edge of the board. I got rid of your 2 dangerous melee units my first turn, and then my second turn I got rid of your 2 big objective-taking units, and then...
No, I'm just left with support units and characters.
Yeah, your army was kind of thin on the ground and spread out. You would have been still ahead at the end of Battle Round 3, but you wouldn't have had any army left, and I would have had 2 Battle Rounds left to get points.
For your secondary, the more objectives you hold, the more reward you got for that, and you had that unit of infiltrators who could just do that all the time, and there's no way I could kill them.
Yeah, I would have easily maxed out on the 15 for that secondary objective.
Yeah, and then you would have been getting possibly even 20 in your last couple of turns, and by which point I'd be getting a maximum of about 12, probably.
Probably even 7. I think I would have been able to get you down to just 1 or 2 objectives.
Yeah, I didn't actually like the scenario very much either. The objectives in the corners are just kind of silly.
Yeah, they're a bit far away. Also, the fact that you start with 3 objectives basically in your deployment zones, you're instantly getting 10 victory points. There isn't going to be much swing.
Yeah, and they're going to be difficult to take off the opponent as well.
Yeah, I mean, strategic reserves probably aren't too useful in this game because there's 2 big deployment zones.
Yes, and because there's objectives near the board edges, they're always going to struggle to come in anywhere useful anyway, so that's why I didn't put anything in reserves. I think I possibly also scuppered myself slightly by taking Raise the Banners, because although it was a good secondary, because the objectives were right in the corner, I had to leave infantry models over there to raise the banner on them, which then meant they just weren't near the front line where they would have been a bit more useful. Having said that, you had to keep things right in the corners anyway to stop you bringing the Seraphim in and just taking the objective for free.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I wasn't really planning, other than the Seraphim, planning on going into your half of the table. I was just going to consolidate around the 2 middle ones.
Yeah, and you can get a steady stream of victory points that way.
Yeah, I think in my turn 3 I would have killed the Overlord, probably would have been able to take 7. I had forces that could come back and deal with the flayed ones and the scarabs in my deployments.
It didn't help that, like, for example, my race, went out and then basically did nothing and then got destroyed. Maybe I shouldn't have actually even charged with them, just had them stand on the objective. You might have had not as much in range to shoot them then, and Calgar might not have been able to charge them. And I would have held objective 3, which would have forced you to send things over there to deal with it. But as it was, I had to run away because Calgar would have just dealt with whatever I sent over there.
Yeah, well, we got the first half of the command barge. You can build it as the annihilation barge instead, but it doesn't come with the instructions for that. Possibly I might just find them online if you wanted that instead. But obviously we'll talk about that in the next issue when it will actually appear. Also, by the time this video comes out, we will have hopefully filmed a game of 10th edition, so there might be a bit of a gap of 1 week in Imperium content, just because we want to have a look at that. But we will stick to the rules in the magazine, so it will still be 9th edition until the end. Otherwise, if you like this content, do leave a like and subscribe, leave any comments, or even the Tabletop donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.